Bienvenidos! Welcome to Spain on Fork. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make 4 Spanish seafood tapas that are insanely delicious. Guys, all these dishes have a beautiful flavor to them. They're very easy to make, and each recipe is made in 30 minutes or less, folks. This is the real deal. We're talking authentic Spanish flavors, effortless to put together. Let's dive right in. The first seafood tapas we're making is Sofia a la plancha. This is truly one of the most popular seafood tapas throughout all of Spain. This is made with cuttlefish. If you guys can't find cuttlefish in your area, you can substitute it for squid. I'm going to begin by adding 2 cloves of roughly minced garlic into a mortar, about 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped parsley, and a pinch of sea salt. And mash it together until you form a paste. Then pour in 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and mix it together until it's well combined. For the next step, I'm going to grab 2 cuttlefishes. These have already been cleaned. I bought these frozen and thawed them out. Very important to pat them completely dry to remove any of that extra water. We're going to remove the tentacles. And once again, get in there and pat the inside of the cuttlefish dry. Then cut it into 1-inch strips and into 1-inch pieces. Once you have all your cuttlefish cut, let's start cooking our dish. I'm going to grab a small fry pan, heat it with a medium-high heat, and add in a generous tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. After heating the oil for about 2 minutes, I'm going to add in the pieces of cuttlefish in there and start mixing around with the extra virgin olive oil. You don't have to mix this consistently, but you do want to get in there once in a while. That way each piece gets perfectly cooked. About 2 minutes after adding the cuttlefish into the pan, you can see they're starting to get a beautiful light golden color to them. I'm going to add in our parsley and garlic mixture in there. And mix it all together. At this point, you want to mix this consistently. That way those garlics don't burn. We're only going to go about 30 seconds. We just want those garlics to be nice and aromatic. You don't want to overcook them. Then we'll remove the pan from the heat and transfer it into a serving dish. Lightly sprinkle it with a little sea salt and garnish it with a lemon wedge. Guys, our first dish is done. Look how beautiful this came out. So simple, but so good. Again, guys, you can go to any tapas bar here in Spain and you will find this beautiful tapas. So easy to make, loaded with Spanish flavor, done in about 15 minutes. For our second seafood tapas dish, we are making garlic shrimp with white wine and saffron. Ladies and gentlemen, shrimps have never tasted or looked better. We're talking an insane amount of flavor, but this is very easy to make and it comes together in under 20 minutes. I'm going to begin by adding a 1/4 cup of white wine into a saucepan and heating it with a medium-high heat. Once this comes to a light boil, I'm going to remove it from the heat and transfer it into a bowl. And I'm going to pinch in 1/2 teaspoon of saffron threads and set this aside. That way that saffron can really infuse into the wine. For the next step, I'm going to grab 4 cloves of garlic and thinly slice them. And for the final ingredient to prepare, I've got 15 jumbo shrimp here. These are peeled and deveined. I bought them frozen and thawed them out just because it makes things so much easier. Make sure that you pat them completely dry with paper towels to remove any of that moisture inside of the shrimps. Then season them with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. All right, let's start cooking our dish. I'm going to grab a large fry pan, heat it with a medium-high heat, and add in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. About 1 minute after adding the oil in there, I'm going to add our slices of garlic and start mixing them around with the extra virgin olive oil. 30 seconds after adding the garlics into the pan, I'm going to start adding the shrimps in there, seasoned side down. 1 minute later, start flipping the shrimp. And then pour in the saffron-infused white wine. It's been a total of 2 minutes since we added the shrimps into the pan. At this point, let's mix everything together. That way all these flavors can perfectly combine. Once everything's well mixed, this dish is ready to go. I'm going to remove it from the heat and transfer it into a serving dish. Guys, our second seafood tapas dish is done. Seriously, look at the beautiful color of this dish. That saffron really infused into everything. We're talking an insane amount of flavor, super easy to make, and done in under 20 minutes. For our third seafood tapas dish, we are making some fried calamari, but with a twist. We're gonna add some sweet smoked paprika in there. This just adds a new flavor in here, guys. Fried calamari have never tasted better. This recipe is super easy to make and comes together in under 30 minutes. I'm gonna begin by grabbing 2 clean tubes of squid. I bought these frozen and thawed them out. Make sure you pat them completely dry with paper towels to remove any of that extra moisture in the squid. And then cut each tube of squid into 1/2-inch thick rings. Next up, I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour into a clear plastic bag. Add in 1/2 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika. Season it with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Then add the squid rings into the bag and mix this together until each squid ring is perfectly coated. I love to coat my squid rings this way. It evenly coats each one and it makes for an easy cleanup. Alright, let's start cooking our dish. I'm going to grab a small fry pan, heat it with a medium-high heat, and add in a generous 1/3 cup of sunflower oil. You can use whatever type of neutral oil that you want here. 3 minutes after heating our oil, it should be nice and hot. I'm going to start adding the squid rings in there. You want to cook this in batches to not overcrowd the pan. About 90 seconds after adding the squid rings into the pan, I'm going to flip them to cook the other side. So important, guys, to not overcook your squid, otherwise it has a chewy texture to it. And as you're finishing each batch of your fried calamari, transfer them into a dish with some paper towels. And continue to fry up your calamari until they're all done. Once you have all your calamari fried up, let's start plating our dish. I'm going to add our fried calamari into a serving dish. Add a couple lemon wedges to the plate and sprinkle it with some freshly chopped parsley. Guys, our third seafood tapas dish is done. Look at this, guys. Seriously, fried calamari have never looked or tasted better. That little bit of sweet smoked Spanish paprika just elevates this dish. Super easy to make, simple ingredients, done in under 30 minutes. For our fourth and final seafood tapas dish, we're making some fried cod with garlic aioli. Guys, this is such an incredible tapas dish. That cod is perfectly fried, and then you dip each bite into that garlic aioli for an explosion of flavors. Super easy to make, done in under 30 minutes. We're going to begin by making the garlic aioli first. I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic that I roughly minced into a mortar, and using a pestle, pound down on the garlic until you form a paste. Then I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Guys, we're taking the mayonnaise shortcut. Makes it so much easier, but the flavors are still insanely delicious. We'll squeeze in 1/2 teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. Adding 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And season it with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And whisk this together until everything's well combined. And like I always tell you guys, look how easily this garlic aioli comes together. Once our garlic aioli is well mixed, I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap and set it aside at room temperature. Okay, for the next step, I've got a fillet of cod here. This is 14 ounces, which is about 390 grams. Again, I bought this frozen and thawed it out just to make things cheaper. Make sure you pat it completely dry with paper towels to remove any of that extra moisture in the cod, guys. So important when you're using frozen fish to pat it completely dry. That way the fish has a beautiful texture and flavor. Then I'm going to cut the fillet of cod right down the middle and into 1-inch pieces. Once you have all your cod cut, add it into a large bowl. Pour in about 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Season with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And gently mix this together until each piece of cod is perfectly coated. Alright, let's start cooking up our cod. I'm going to grab a large frying pan, heat it with a medium-high heat, and add in a 1/4 cup of virgin olive oil. After heating our olive oil for about 2 minutes on a medium-high heat, I'm going to add the coated pieces of cod in there and mix them around with the olive oil. You don't have to mix this consistently, but get in there once in a while. That way each piece of cod is perfectly fried. 4 minutes after adding the cod into the pan and they all have this beautiful golden color to them, this dish is ready to go. I'm going to remove this from the heat. transfer the fried cod into a serving dish. We'll grab some of our garlic aioli, add it into the plate, and we'll sprinkle it with some freshly chopped parsley. Guys, our final seafood tapas dish is done. Seriously, how insane does this look? That cod is perfectly fried. It's got a nice golden color to it. Then you dip it into that garlic aioli for an explosion of flavors, guys. So easy to make, so much Spanish flavor, done in under 30 minutes. We have just created 4 incredible Spanish seafood tapas, guys. The flavors in each dish are insanely delicious. And you guys saw it, easy to put together, and each recipe done in 30 minutes or less. Enjoy these tapas during the holiday season or all year round. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button. Till the next time, hasta luego.